Memorial itself, my family, my mother's family, were at Terminal Island, and so there's a special place for this memorial and this group in my heart. And really, I didn't really prepare anything because everything I'm going to say really is from my heart. And it's just a real pleasure and honor to be here together with you all today. Well, about 20 years ago, my Uncle Bob, Dr. Chikao Robert Riono, came to me and said that he was part of a group that wanted to do a memorial for the Terminal Islanders, and would I help him do it? And since he was always the leader of my family, I couldn't say no to him, and so obviously I said yes. But it was really an opportunity for an architect like myself to do something like this for posterity. So one of the first things that happened was we came out here, and he told me that the Port of Los Angeles was gracious enough to give the Terminal Islanders some land to build this memorial. And so we came out here, and one of the first things I realized immediately was the fact that the actual village was over there. And so it became a real immediate challenge, but ultimately it really paved the way. It gave us the direction for what the memorial eventually became, because really a memorial, although obviously memorializes something that happened in the past, we wanted to make this memorial something of a way to look back. And indeed, when you really enter the memorial from there and walk through the Torii Gate, and you could see, you look back at the island, you look back at Terminal Island, and so the memorial is about looking back. It's all about a lot of different symbolism and some things that you probably don't even know. If you're able to look at the memorial from the air, from 10,000 feet, you would probably notice that the shape of the parcel, the memorial itself, is shaped like the stern of a tuna clipper. And so very few people really know that it really looks like that. The Torii Gate is not just any Torii Gate. It is an exact concrete replica of the Torii Gate that stood at the temple in Terminal Island. And so it's the exact replica. And so it's a living memorial to what you're doing here. And then finally, you'll see a glass panel there that we hope that you'll spend a few minutes looking through, because there's an image there of the village from approximately exactly the same location. And so you actually looking back at the village from 75 years ago. And I want to bring to the podium my principal associate, Craig Beege, who was the actual designer who actually envisioned and took all my uncles and my demands about how this thing should happen, and actually created the actual design. Craig?
It was a real honor and privilege to work on this project. Something that meant so much to the Terminal Islanders. The members that we worked with originally, Mike's Uncle Bob, Mint and I, former President Yukio, Moss, and all the others were really just, they spearheaded the whole effort. And what we want to do is make sure that their vision and their story was told. So, originally the memorial here was going to be just a statue, but we wanted it to be something more. We wanted it to be able to really tell a story. And so we combined a number of symbolic elements with the statue in order to convey this story and this message, and really remember as well as celebrate the life that used to be here on Terminal Island. So some of the stuff we did, we looked at historic photos, and we wanted to create a storyboard of what life used to be here. We worked with a graphic artist, Eileen Nakata, who did a wonderful job of composing all the images on black granite panels here, and really snapshot in time of what it used to be like. The other elements, though, the really important elements that we incorporate in the design, the Torii Gate, really what that was meant to be was a portal. You know, as Mike mentioned, the fishing community used to be across Fish Harbor, and so we wanted to create an element that transcended you from where the memorial is to where it used to be. And so we combined a torii in a way that it creates this gateway. And you experience this gateway when you approach the monument from one side. There's what started off as a statue became two statues. We had looked at a way of really interacting the statue with the rest of the built environment to tell the story. And so we have two figures. One is standing up and he's hauling in the net and he's greeting you as you're coming up the ramp here. And then directly above head on the torii, there's a sumi that Yukio did that says something to the translation of happy fishing, or more like big fish, right? And so you get to see that as you come up to the top podium here. And then there's another statue that's a little more human scale. As you approach it from the other end, he's basically at eye level with you. He's crouching down on his haunches and he's looking through glass panels over across the harbor. One of the things that we discovered through looking through all these historic photos, as Mike mentioned, was this nice panoramic of what the community used to be like. And so we put that panoramic, we scaled it down to basically the same perspective scale that you would experience if you were standing here looking across the harbor, seeing what you would have circa 1940. And you get to see that image juxtaposed against the image of what's there today. And the statue really enforces this sort of gaze, if you will, across the harbor, and you know, has this contemplative look, if you will, on his face as he looks across the harbor at what was his home, his community. There were a number of other people that were involved in this that I'd like to mention. Henry Alvarez was the actual sculptor that did the statues and did a remarkable job of really bringing these figures to life. I remember being in this studio with Moss and Min and all these others and making sure that the details were just right. And he really did a great job of bringing those characters to life. We had Michael Yokotaki, who helped with the panoramic image, putting that onto the glass. Haruo Yamashiro, who was a landscape master who actually donated the very interesting rocks that you see here in the rock garden. And all these elements coming together that are symbolic in a way to the Terminal Islanders and are really meant to just memorialize the design here. And so I want to thank June and Donna and the rest of the Terminal Islander members.